We're going to be speaking about augmented reality in spine surgery. This is an extremely exciting time for this field. The next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years are going to be rapidly evolving, and it's really exciting to be on the forefront of this effort. Briefly, today's talk, we're going to be speaking about the education of a patient, the applications and training, that's primarily VR, and then, of course, augmented reality intraoperative applications. Really quickly, just the definitions. Virtual reality is a computer-generated simulation of a three-dimensional image, meaning you put on your headset, whatever you see inside is what you're looking at, but you're not seeing the world around you. This can be used particularly for education and preparation for cases. The key being, if you make an error or a mistake, this is done in a risk-free environment with no harm done to the patient. With augmented reality, we're merging the virtual world with the physical. So you put on your headset, you're seeing the patient, you're seeing the world, but you also have superimposed onto your vision a display of relevant structures that you're interested in seeing. The key here is that that's going to enhance the procedural and intraoperative environment and avoid diverting your attention. So in classic navigation cases, you're putting a screw in, but you're looking at a navigation screen. In augmented reality, you never take your vision away from the patient, which of course is an advantage. We can also use this to combine intraoperative navigation with a microscope integration. So you're looking at whatever you're looking at the microscope, but superimposed on your view is a heads-up display of relevant structures, arteries, nerves, tumor, etc. Adrian Elmi Tarander is one of the worldwide leaders in augmented reality research and pushing the envelope. And he published this paper showing higher accuracy with augmented reality than with the freehand technique. Did a similar project with the lumbar spine. I think we need more collaboration. We need more publications to show the efficacy and to prove that what we're doing is great. Despite all the interest, though, in most spine surgery operating rooms, we are not using augmented reality at this point in time. That is going to change. With X-Vision Augmetics FDA clearance, that opened the FDA approval process. So now in the operating room, this is FDA approved to use Augmetics, and many other products are in the pipeline. The first case that we used virtual reality for at Mount Sinai was with a 72-year-old male who presented with worsening neck pain and left-sided weakness. He was hyperreflexic on exam. You see some marrow involvement in this sagittal image, and with the contrast-enhanced imaging, you see that there is a ventral and dorsal lesion to the cord. On axial contrast-enhanced T1, you see there is tumor enveloping the spinal cord, worse on the left side. We did an extensive workup. We presented him in our multidisciplinary spine conference and in our tumor board. And of course, the basic usual questions came up. What would you do? What is the diagnosis? But the harder question is, how can we explain this to the patient in a way that he or she understands this? The surgery, the risks, the benefits, and the alternatives. And we call this the aha moment, when we show a patient their scan with their CAT scan and their MRI fused together. We show them the approach we're going to take. We show them where the tumor is, how it's enveloping the green spinal cord with blue tumor, worse on the left side. We see the vertebral arteries, the carotid arteries, everything relevant. And the patients can finally understand in a little better way what is going on, why are they weak, why are their reflexes up, why are we doing the surgery that we're doing. We also had a 39-year-old present shortly after with weakness, gait imbalance, falls, myelopathy, urinary incontinence. He had a very large C6-7 disc herniation. And we showed not only the anatomy, but we also showed the approach we were going to take. So we showed the esophagus, the carotid artery, the jugular vein. We showed the approach we were going to take between them, with carotid artery and jugular vein to the left and trachea and esophagus to the right. We showed the yellow disc herniation compressing and indenting the spinal cord, which explains the weakness and the urinary incontinence. We showed him how we're going to approach the spine and how we're going to remove the disc, decorticate, how we're going to place a device in a cage and then put a plate over the front. This patient was very excited and enthusiastic about this, and ultimately, of course, he consented for us to use his imaging and show this video. And we're trying to demonstrate value. You know, obviously every device has a cost. We're trying to demonstrate why this is so important by demonstrating value on the study. And this has value with medical students, interns, residents, fellows, advanced practice providers, and attendings. This is how we now rehearse for cases in advance. This is teaching a medical student how to put in a screw. A lateral mass screw, of course, we teach them the up and out technique to avoid the vertebral artery and the nerve, the entry points, etc. We even can practice drilling before the case starts, drilling the trough on each side at the junction of the lamina and lateral mass. You can imagine if you're a medical student, first time in the operating room, all of a sudden, what is normally a very foreign concept and overwhelming display, you can kind of rehearse before, and it becomes a lot less overwhelming and a lot more comprehensible. How can we help surgeons? So this is an example of augmented reality. So we're looking at the room around us. We can have superimpose onto our view whatever we'd like. So it could be vital signs, it could be patient information, it could be the CAT scan, it could be axial, sagittal, coronal CAT scan images, whatever you'd like. But the key is, if you have a tough pedicle screw, you could take the vertebral body, you can rotate it out, you could see your entry point, your trajectory, the size of the pedicle. This is particularly helpful in maybe a deformity case where there's rotated anatomy. This is rapidly evolving. This is an example of how we can look at things in 3D before a case and rehearse a T1 or T2 entry point. Make sure we get it right the first time, no multiple screw attempts, it's tremendously beneficial. So ultimately, in conclusion, virtual reality, augmented reality, many potential applications in spine surgery, education of trainees, patient counseling, enhancing the procedures, and many more to come. Applications are going to expand and improve. There's not really a question about it. It's a question of how fast we can do it. But in order to do so, we need research, innovation, and collaboration.